I'm 63 years old, and up until 18 months ago, I thought I'd done everything right. I'd been a hospice nurse for 37 years, raised 2 kids on my own after their father walked out, put them both through college, and managed to save $412,000 for retirement. Not bad for a single mother who started with nothing. But my late husband Michael, who I married 5 years after my divorce and who passed away 3 years ago from pancreatic cancer, he used to say something that I didn't fully understand until recently. He'd squeeze my hand and whisper, "Linda, I'm going to make sure you're always taken care of, even when I'm gone." I thought he meant the life insurance. I thought he meant the house we'd bought together. I was wrong. Let me tell you what happened when I trusted the wrong person. It started innocently enough. My son Jason had married Amanda 6 years ago, right before Michael got sick. Amanda was a real estate agent, bubbly and enthusiastic, always talking about opportunities and investments. During Michael's illness, she was actually helpful, bringing meals, sitting with him so I could rest. I grew to trust her. After Michael died, I threw myself into work for another year, but at 62, I was exhausted. The overnight shifts, the emotional toll of watching people die, it was time. I retired in March of last year with my pension and my savings, planning to travel, maybe volunteer, enjoy the garden Michael and I had planted together. That's when Amanda approached me. "Mom," she said one Sunday after dinner at their place. She'd started calling me Mom after the wedding, which I'd found sweet. "I have an incredible opportunity I want to talk to you about." Jason was doing dishes in the kitchen, and Amanda had pulled me aside to their home office. She had spreadsheets open on her computer, glossy brochures spread across the desk. "There's a new senior living development going up in Scottsdale. Luxury condos, world-class amenities. But here's the thing, they're offering investment opportunities to get in on the ground floor. You buy a unit now at pre-construction prices, and when the development opens in 18 months, the value will triple." "Triple? Mom. I've already put in $50,000 of our own money." She showed me projections, testimonials, photos of the site. The development was called Desert Horizons, and it looked beautiful. Palm trees, pool, fitness center, even a small medical clinic on site. "The minimum investment is $200,000, Amanda continued, "but I really think you should consider going bigger. With your savings, you could put in $300, maybe $350, and in less than 2 years, you'd have over $1 million. Imagine that. You could buy a unit there yourself, live in luxury, and still have money left over." I hesitated. "That's most of my savings, Amanda." "I know, and I wouldn't bring this to you if I wasn't absolutely certain. This is family, Mom. I'm protecting you." She put her hand on mine. "You've worked so hard your whole life. Don't you deserve this?" I should have talked to a lawyer. I should have done independent research. I should have listened to the little voice in my head that Michael's death had somehow made quieter. But Amanda was family. She'd been there during the hardest time of my life. And the promise of financial security, of never having to worry again, it was so tempting. "Let me think about it," I said. Over the next 2 weeks, Amanda was persistent. She'd send me articles about the booming senior living market, text me updates about other investors joining, even drove me past the construction site, though from the road all I could see was dirt and a chain-link fence with a large banner that said, "Desert Horizons, coming 2024. Jason seemed supportive when I asked him about it. "If Amanda says it's good, it's probably good, Mom. She's really good at what she does." My daughter Stephanie, who lived in Boston with her wife and worked as a teacher, had a different reaction when I called her. "Mom, that sounds like a scam," she said bluntly. "Why would a real estate development need money from individual investors? Don't they get bank loans?" Amanda says this is a special opportunity. Amanda says, "Mom, please, get a lawyer to look at this before you hand over your life savings." "It's not my life savings. It's just a portion." "A portion? How much?" I paused. I was thinking $300,000. The silence on the other end lasted so long I thought the call had dropped. "Mom," Stephanie finally said, her voice tight, "that's 3/4 of everything you have. Please don't do this without proper legal advice. Actually, don't do this at all." But Stephanie was always the cautious one, always the skeptic, and she didn't know Amanda like I did. She didn't see how Amanda had cared for Michael, for me, for our family. I signed the papers in early May. Amanda had brought them to the house with a notary, a cheerful woman who barely glanced at the documents before witnessing my signature. I wrote a check for $325,000, leaving me with $87,000 in savings. "You won't regret this," Amanda said, hugging me tight. "I promise, Mom, this is going to change your life." She was right about that, just not in the way I thought. For the first few months, everything seemed fine. Amanda sent me monthly statements showing my investment growing. She'd forward photos of construction progress, though when I looked closely, the photos seemed generic, like they could have been from any construction site anywhere. In September, I asked to visit the actual development. "Oh, it's not a good time," Amanda said quickly. "They're doing major groundwork. It's all machinery and dirt. Nothing to see yet. Let's wait until they start vertical construction. It'll be more exciting." Something about her tone bothered me, but I pushed it aside. Then in October, I tried to call the development company directly. The number on my statements just rang and rang. No voicemail, nothing. I mentioned this to Amanda. "Their office is probably being renovated," she said. "I'll get you an update from my contact there." The update never came. I started having trouble sleeping. Something felt wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. One night, I drove out to Scottsdale myself, to the address listed on my investment documents. The lot was empty. Not under construction, just empty dirt with weeds growing through. The banner was gone. There was no sign any development had ever been planned. My hands shook as I stood there in the desert twilight. I took photos with my phone, then drove straight to Jason and Amanda's house. Amanda's car was in the driveway, but no one answered when I knocked. I used the key they'd given me for emergencies and let myself in. The house was quiet. I called out, but got no answer. Then, I heard voices from upstairs, from their bedroom. Amanda was on the phone. I know, she was saying. "She's getting suspicious. But I can stall her a few more months. After that, it won't matter. She signed the documents. She can't prove anything." I stood frozen at the bottom of the stairs. "The money's already gone," Amanda continued. "We paid off the house, bought the BMW, took that trip to Europe. What's she going to do? Sue us? She's 63 years old and she'll be broke. Who's going to believe her over me?" I backed out of the house as quietly as I'd entered, got in my car, and drove home with tears streaming down my face. That night, I called Stephanie. "You were right," I said. "It's a scam. It's all gone." Stephanie caught the next flight out. What followed was a nightmare. I hired a lawyer with money I didn't have, taking out a loan against my house. The lawyer explained that while the documents I'd signed were fraudulent, proving that in court would be difficult, Amanda was smart. She'd created just enough paperwork to make it look legitimate. "Did you get anything in writing saying this was fraudulent?" the lawyer asked. "No, but I heard her on the phone. Hearsay. Not admissible." Jason, when confronted, claimed he knew nothing about it. "Amanda handles all the finances," he said, and I couldn't tell if he was lying or just willfully blind. My own son, looking at me like I was the problem. Amanda's lawyer sent a letter claiming I had buyer's remorse and was trying to back out of a legitimate investment. They said the development had been delayed, not canceled, and I was being impatient. "Delayed until when?" I demanded. No answer. By December, I was in serious financial trouble. My savings were gone, my pension barely covered my basic expenses, and the legal fees were piling up. I put the house on the market. The house Michael and I had bought together, where we'd made a garden, where I'd held his hand as he died. Stephanie wanted me to move to Boston, but I couldn't. This was my home. This was all I had left of Michael. That's when I hit rock bottom. Sitting in my living room, surrounded by moving boxes, looking at my life packed away, I felt like I'd failed everyone. Failed Michael, failed myself, failed to protect what we'd built. I couldn't even afford the move, couldn't afford first month's rent somewhere. At 63 years old, I was facing homelessness. I called Stephanie in tears. "I'm so sorry," I sobbed. "I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you." "Mom, stop. We're going to figure this out. Mark and I will help you." But I didn't want to be a burden on my daughter and her wife. They had their own lives, their own expenses. That night, unable to sleep, I went down to the garage to start packing Michael's things. I'd been avoiding it for 3 years, but I needed to clear everything out before the house sold. His tools were still organized on his workbench, his gardening supplies in neat rows, and in the back corner, behind some paint cans, I found a small fireproof safe I didn't recognize. I tried every combination I could think of. Our anniversary, his birthday, my birthday, nothing worked. Then, on impulse, I tried the date we planted the garden together. It clicked open. Inside was a letter addressed to me in Michael's handwriting, a stack of documents, and a checkbook for an account I'd never seen. My hands trembled as I unfolded the letter. It was dated 2 weeks before he died. "My dearest Linda," it began. "If you're reading this, I'm gone, and something has happened that you need help with. I hope you never have to open this safe. I hope my precautions are unnecessary. But I know you, my love. You see the good in everyone, even when you shouldn't. When Amanda came into our lives, I wanted to trust her. She's Jason's wife, she's family, but something about her always bothered me. The way she talked about money, the way she looked at our house, our savings, the way she asked too many questions about your retirement plans. So I took precautions. I opened a separate account and transferred $100,000 into it. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to think I didn't trust our son, and I prayed I was wrong about Amanda. But if you're opening this, I wasn't wrong. The account information is attached. The money is yours, all yours, in your name only. Use it to protect yourself. Use it to start over if you need to. Use it to fight back. I also hired a private investigator 6 months before I died. I was too sick to follow up on what he found, but all his reports are in this safe. He found things, Linda. Things about Amanda's past, about similar scams she's been involved in, about debts and lies. Take these documents to a good lawyer. Fight for what's yours, and know that even though I'm not there with you, I'm still protecting you. I always will. I love you forever. Be strong, my darling. You're stronger than you know. All my love. Michael. I sat on the garage floor and cried. Not tears of despair this time, but something else. Grief, yes, that Michael had known, had worried, had tried to protect me, but also hope, and anger, and determination. The private investigator's reports were damning. Amanda had pulled this same scam in Nevada 3 years before marrying Jason. She'd taken money from elderly investors for a senior care facility that never existed, then disappeared before charges could be filed. She'd changed her last name, moved to Arizona, reinvented herself. The reports included testimony from her previous victims, bank records showing where money had gone, even photos of Amanda with a different name, different hair, same smile. I called my lawyer first thing Monday morning. "This changes everything," he said, flipping through the documents. "This is evidence of a pattern, of fraud, of intent. We can file criminal charges, not just civil." "Do it," I said. "File everything." The next weeks were a blur. The police got involved. Detectives interviewed me, examined Michael's evidence, contacted the Nevada victims. They froze Amanda and Jason's accounts. They seized the BMW, put a lien on their house. Amanda's lawyer tried to claim the evidence was obtained illegally, but Michael's private investigator had done everything by the book. They tried to claim Amanda was a different person than the woman in Nevada, but fingerprints don't lie. Jason finally broke down. He'd known, not at first, but for months he'd known. He'd seen the bank statements, the cash withdrawals, Amanda's expensive purchases. He'd suspected but hadn't wanted to believe his wife could do that to his mother. "I'm so sorry, Mom," he sobbed in the courtroom. "I'm so sorry." Amanda didn't cry. She sat there, stone-faced, as the charges were read. Wire fraud, elder abuse, theft by deception. The prosecutor was asking for 10 years. The trial took 8 months. I testified, shaking but clear. The Nevada victims testified. The private investigator testified. Michael's letter was read into evidence, and I cried when I heard his words spoken aloud in court. In the end, Amanda was convicted on all counts. She got 12 years. Jason was charged as an accessory but got a plea deal for 18 months in restitution. I got my money back. All of it. The court ordered them to liquidate everything, and with the money Michael had hidden, I actually came out slightly ahead. But that's not the victory that mattered. The victory was standing in court and reading my victim impact statement. Looking Amanda in the eye and saying, "You tried to take everything from me. My security, my home, my dignity. You made me doubt myself, made me feel old and foolish and broken. But I'm none of those things. I'm a survivor. I'm a fighter. And I had someone who loved me enough to protect me even after death." I turned to where Stephanie sat in the gallery. "And I have a daughter who flew across the country to stand by me. I have family, real family, and you have nothing." After the sentencing, Stephanie and I went to the cemetery where Michael was buried. I'd brought fresh flowers for his grave, the purple irises he'd loved. "Thank you," I whispered, kneeling by his headstone. "Thank you for knowing. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for loving me enough to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best." Stephanie put her hand on my shoulder. "He was a good man. The best," I agreed. I didn't move to Boston. I kept my house, the house Michael and I had made a home. I used some of the recovered money to renovate the garden, to plant new flowers, to install a bench where I could sit and remember him. Jason and I have a relationship now, though it's fragile. He's in therapy, working through his guilt and his role in what happened. He writes me letters from prison sometimes, apologizing, trying to explain. I write back, not because I'm ready to forgive completely, but because he's still my son, and giving up on him means giving up a piece of myself. Stephanie visits more often now. She saw how close I came to losing everything, and I think it scared her. It scared both of us. I volunteer now at a senior center, teaching financial literacy classes. I tell my story, show people the red flags I missed, the questions I should have asked. I teach them about protecting their assets, about the importance of independent legal advice, about how scammers often come from within our own families. Trust your gut, I tell them, and protect yourself legally, even when it feels awkward, even when it's family, especially when it's family. Some nights, I still go into the garage and sit by Michael's workbench. I keep his letter in a frame now, hanging where I can see it. The safe is still there, empty but significant. He knew. Somehow, even sick, even dying, he knew to protect me. That's what love does. Real love, the kind that lasts beyond death. It doesn't just make promises, it makes preparations. I'm 63 years old. I lost $325,000 to a scam. I almost lost my home, my dignity, my faith in family. But I didn't lose. Because Michael made sure of that. And because I learned that being strong doesn't mean never falling. It means getting back up. Even when you're scared. Even when you're 63 and feel like the world has beaten you down. I water the garden every morning. The garden Michael and I planted together. The roses are blooming now, deep red, the color of love that endures. And sometimes, when the wind blows just right, I swear I can hear his voice. "I told you, Linda. I told you I'd take care of you." And he did. Even from beyond the grave, he did.